Hello, all you noble people. I'm the Noble, and today we are doing the Noble's Way of Newcastle. Hope you like that little intro thing there. Been trying to work on editing and stuff, and I plan on doing more of that. And if you are curious, the Noble Way is just my version of a guide because I want to have like my own thing that I put down, like Macro has for noobs, so I'll do the Noble Way because it's my way of how I think these characters should play and how I think their strengths are. So let's go through the guide of the newest legend, Newcastle. Newcastle's passive is called Retrieve the Wounded. He has a special revive, kind of like how Lifeline has a special revive, where when he starts rezzing, you can move around while rezzing, allowing you to actually position yourself in different ways, which is very helpful. As long as well as having the be able to move around, he also uses his knockdown shield to like block damage. This is since it is his knockdown shield, this means that it will level up the higher level knockdown shield you actually have. Meaning it usually you want to try and find the highest one you can very early game so you'll be able to res safely. Here's me actually using his Newcastle's passive at a slowed speed so I can talk about it more. You can see that I have a gold knockdown shield, meaning I will be able to uh, protect me and my teammate Valraptor, who is helping me make this, from a good amount of damage. But I do also want to point out that you might not want to give Newcastle a gold knockdown because it will visibly show that he has one when he's rezzing, so it might put more of a target on his back. Newcastle's tactical is mobile shield. Newcastle can throw out a disc that is a hologram projector that will project a shield similar to how Gibby's bubble works. Except this time it is only in like kind of like a half crescent moon kind of shape that kind of covers the top. This shield can be used and turned in various different ways, allowing it to be mobile. This means you can push up a hill with it or push down a hill with it, allow you to throw it out and not have to throw it out in the location you want it to because you can move it forward and backwards. This shield has two separate types of health. The top one has its own separate health pool, and the bottom one has one. Meaning, if the top one breaks, you'll still have the bottom one to be able to crouch down to protect you. And this can be really good to play in and out of, but all around, I still do think a Gibby bubble is probably better. Here is me using the mobile shield in action. Valraptor is bravely drawing people near me so I can get a clip for this. I throw it out and you can see that it will slowly go up towards a located area that I can ping towards. Now, while this is good since it blocks some damage and allows Valraptor to get behind it, it isn't big enough for everything. You see here that I'm able to knock the Gibby, but the other person that is here, I can't get behind the shield fast enough, and when I click the button to move it back, it's still too slow. And I also do want to point out that it is a bit clunky of how you move it, but that will be in the tips section of this video. Newcastle's ultimate is Castle Wall. Newcastle will pull out his actual shield, and you'll be able to target a location that will allow you to jump over or kind of fly over to that location and set down a kind of a castle wall with three big barriers and then tiny barriers in between that you can shoot through but can crouch under and still be protected. This is pretty good for repositioning since it's a type of movement ability. Also, a good thing is that you can actually target your teammates, and targeting your teammates gives you double the distance since the normal distance is 35 meters. So you'll be able to go around 70 meters with this ultimate, and you can turn around mid jump, allowing you to turn it either way you want to, allowing you to get very good angles and very good rotations. This also works with any size. It doesn't have to be the full castle. It can be small or large. You can see here me angling it and jumping down. It activates and will activate that castle shield. I also do want to point out that it is glowing. It gets electrified for the first 30 seconds of the ultimate, a lot, meaning that enemies cannot jump over it without taking damage and getting stunned, kind of like a Watson fence, allowing you to actually pretty much be unpushable for the first 30 seconds of your ultimate, which is really good. Now we'll get into the tips section, or tips and tricks section. Basically, this will be where I will show all the kind of things that how his abilities work that can help you, or overall are just a good thing to know about them, so you have a better understanding of the abilities. So let's start off with number 1.
It's like old times, huh?
Okay, so this first tip is how to res. You might have heard that little section other than Newcastle's voice line. His res is very, very loud, meaning that you might want to be aware of how to do that, especially if you pull off a sneaky res. Another thing to note is that I don't know if it is a bug or it is an intentional thing, probably not intentional, but when you remove his knockdown shield, there is no sound. There is no revive sound, or very little revive sound, other than the initial starting one and the ending one. Meaning you can get off some sneaky reses without the extra cover, so do be aware of that. Tip number 2 is knowing placement of his ult and knowing when to use it. His ult makes a very loud noise when activating it, so you must know when you're going to be able to use it more defensively or when you're starting a push with your team. Here in this clip, I'm using it to block down an area and make it harder for the enemies to push us, because especially since my teammates are around this corner near me, allowing my Rampart to get off the res. I also want to point out that I don't think this one is a bug, but when you stick arc stars on the other side of the wall, they actually will blow up on both sides. This also applies to his mobile shield. You can stick arc stars on it and then actually send it through a wall and blow someone up on the other side, which is, I don't recommend doing for the mobile one, since that's kind of cheating. But I do recommend doing it on the ultimate, sense if they'll get stunned by the arc star, and also will have a chance to get stunned by the initial 30-second zap like that Rev did, and that Rev got completely obliterated, which is a very good thing to note, and just be more aware of the positioning with your ultimate. Tip number 3 is understanding how buggy and kind of bad and broken his tactical is. In this clip, I just kind of randomly throw out my tactical to not do anything, just to say I'm shielding you, but it phases through the floor. Not only that, but it also is very hard to control when it doesn't phase through the floor, and is weird when you want it to move and want it to actually turn like 180 and stuff, and it's very confusing. And the graph that I will show on screen now is helps, but it still is very clunky to use. Here's the graph that I was talking about. Sorry for the quality, it's kind of hard to find it. I couldn't go on Reddit since I'm still on my school computer. But this circle shows how his actual shield works. Over here near the circle is the outer line of where you can ping. The blue line is basically where you can ping, but the shield doesn't turn. So usually what people happen is that they'll start getting shot at from the behind, so they'll click their shield behind them, but it just slowly moves. It doesn't rotate behind them, which is kind of annoying. And there is no button to just rotate it 80 degrees or 90 degrees or something. You actually have to click into this zone that isn't in the blue area. And it does extend farther than this blue area, but this is just a graph to show where it is. And it's always based off where the projector is facing. If the projector is facing, like if this picture was on the side, then the blue angle would be different. Just make sure that if you want it to turn, like the shield to turn, not it to move, make sure you try and ping it into the area that isn't in the blue here. I know it's kind of hard to visualize in game. It does help a little bit, but I still do think they need to change some stuff with the tactical. However, I do think the ultimate and passive are still really, really good and really strong, and I don't think they need too much changing. And there you have it, everybody. That is the Noble's Way to Newcastle. I hope you all really enjoyed. I actually had a lot of fun making this video and editing it. I always, one of the things I want to do when I get a job and like go to college and everything is become a video editor and do graphic design and stuff like that. And I definitely think this is practice. It's obviously not good. This is like bare bones stuff, and I'm working with Camtasia, which isn't the best, but I hope you all enjoyed. A big shout out to my friend Valraptor. He'll help me get most of these clips. Shout out to LeanAd SP, who was the person who actually made that diagram on Reddit for the mobile shield. Uh, if you have made it this far, please comment Newcastle in the comments so I know how many people actually watched all the way through. And also, tell me your thoughts on what you think about Newcastle. Do you think he's strong? Do you think he needs nerfs? I personally think he's pretty strong. I just think he needs not only a bunch of bug changes, because there are a lot of bugs with him right now. Most of them I didn't even mention in the video, but but I do like the fact that he is fortified, and I think having an entire character that is shield based and defensive is much needed since the meta was kind of more rush heavy, and only really Gibby was the good shield, like a defense character. But this season, I feel like everyone in the defense class is going to be played more, especially Rampart. Which, speaking about Rampart, she will be our new Noble Way, since she is my actual main. I know I said I was a crypto main in my crypto heirloom video, and I still do play him a lot, but I definitely am a lot better at Rampart than I am crypto, and I know my way around how to play Rampart. I've done her solo a lot, and I'll be excited for that. If you have any ideas for that video, please also tell me I guess I know I'm asking for a lot in the comments, but make sure to like and subscribe if you made it this far, and yeah, stay noble.